Hey, hey. Happy Wednesday, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome back to the Build and Grow Your Business Like a Pro live show. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I'm Allie McCauley, if we haven't met before, a brand and business strategist and a WordPress designer and developer. I'm the CEO and founder of my company, Do Well Websites, where my main mission is to really help business owners build and grow their business online while saving you time and money and honestly, quite possibly your sanity along the way, because I really like to break things down with simple strategies and tools to make it easy. That's what I thrive on. So some of the entrepreneurs that I run into are really talking a lot about this in the online space right now, that the market is overcrowded, I've heard people say, or there's too many people in your niche. And let's not forget to talk about paid advertising. It's just so risky, the return on investment right now. So what do you do, right? You're an entrepreneur, you're a visionary, and you're really ready. You want to work the way you want to live the way you want. And so what you need to do is really break through all of that online noise that's surrounding you so that you can get the attention of your dream clients and be able to really make a true connection with your audience, right? That's what we all want, right? So give me a thumbs up if you're joining me today, either live or on the replay. Give me a thumbs up if this is what you feel like you need to do. Are you connecting with this thought that you really need to be able to break through all of that noise that's going on online right now? Because there's never been a more important time than now to increase your brand awareness and your visibility so that you can grow your business authentically and organically without having to rely on paid ads, right? So today I want to share with you 5 key characteristics of a breakthrough brand, okay? Because your brand isn't just your logo. Your brand is how your entire business shows up for your audience. It's how ultimately how you make them feel. So it's how they perceive you and their overall experience in how they interact with you. From what your social media posts look like, how you physically appear, how your business sounds in your own voice, as well as your the language and the way that you write in your copy and your content. It's the way you act in the way that you show up live in front of your audience, the colors you use, the emotion that comes through in your imagery. It's the whole package. Okay. So there are 5 key traits that you can build upon within your own brand that will help you to stand out among the pack. Okay. And break through that online noise like we're talking about. So here we go. All right. Number 1 is to be clear and focused. So it's all about knowing exactly who you help and exactly what you do. Having absolute clarity is key, because ultimately clarity is going to give you confidence, right? It's going to make knowing how to show up so much easier. So when you get clear, you'll be able to show up more confidently and also more consistently, right? So I see a lot of entrepreneurs really get stuck here. They're, wishy-washy about choosing a niching down. I hear everyone talking about this, and it's so hard, right? And maybe choosing the exact people that they help, and they don't know which offerings people will want to buy. So they're kind of like, just throwing spaghetti at the wall when they're first starting out, and that's totally fine, because you don't know what works until you try, right? Until you start taking action. And so then as you move forward, you start to develop this internal clarity about what your brand stands for, your values, your position, your personality, your voice, which we talk a lot about inside of this group. You learn who your brand is. Yeah. So as you develop clarity about your dream clients and what motivates them, you learn how to connect with them more deeply and more authentically. right? So when you know on a deep level, a really deep level, who your brand is, how it shows up, and exactly how you can reach your audience, creating content comes easily and more quickly. And that allows you to show up more confidently and makes it so much more easier. And I know that so many of us really, really want that. We want to be able to show up online. We want it to be easy and come naturally. Okay, so number 2 is to be relevant. And so now I have a question. I have a question about this for you because a lot of us are this way. Are you the do what you want to do type of person? I love to tell this story about my son, who is 7 now, but even when he was like 3 and 4, he would run away from me and just turn his head back over his shoulder and say, I do what I want, when I was calling him to come back, which was really, really hysterical. And when I first started my business, I kind of was like that too. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. I wanted to do what I wanted and with whom and when. And that's because that's why I wanted to start my own business, right? That's why we go into entrepreneurship, because, we're our own boss. We get to make those decisions, right? But that also meant that I wasn't really listening. Okay, so I'm sure you can guess how that turns out when you're not paying attention, when you're not listening. If you are not listening, then you won't have a good understanding of what matters to your dream clients, to your audience, and how they want to go about solving their problem. So, in order to be relevant, your brand needs to connect with your dream client and meet them where they're at. And usually, it's not what they think, it's how they feel. And you've got to solve a specific problem that you solve, a problem or a need that also satisfies what your audience wants. So you do this by creating an intersection between what you offer and what your dream client is actually looking for, or what they think they're looking for. Okay. That all comes into the selling of what you do. But like I said before, you don't know what's going to work until you try. So you can sit by yourself and, think about exactly what you think they want, and what they need and how they want it. And you can try your best to absolutely perfect your offer without getting any input. But until you put it out there and until you start getting feedback, you actually don't know. And this is so important to understand. You've got to start taking imperfect action in order to learn what's relevant for your audience, and then make changes and refine as you go. All right. So, for those of you just joining, number 1 is to be clear and focused. Number 2 is to be relevant. And these are the 5 key characteristics of a breakthrough brand. All right. And it's all going to be on replay. So if you missed it, you can roll back. But we're at number 3 now. And number 3 is to be different. So this can be a strange feeling for a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs, because we all lived, through puberty. We all went through middle school and our teenage years when all we wanted to do was fit in. We did not want to stand out. That was the last thing we wanted to do, right? I know, me personally, I played it safe. I followed trends. I stuck to the rules. I mean, of course, I had fun, but I certainly tried to blend in. It was like safety in numbers was my motto or something. But, when it comes to building your brand, though, and your business, your goal has to be the exact opposite. So you've got to know how you're different and be willing to stand up for what you believe. Make yourself heard and really allow what makes you different to shine, because that's going to make you shine brighter than the rest. And, you have to really think, like, what's my unique angle? And this can be, you can do this in a few different ways, but if you have an offer or what you do is totally new and it's never been done before, this alone is going to make you stand out, because it's new and different, and it's absolutely different if no one's done it. But most of the time, that's not the case, right? Most of the time, we find ourselves inside of a very crowded market, like we talked about in the beginning, and that's okay. I mean, that just means that there's a need for what you offer. right? And you may have had a unique experience. That is something that makes you unique and different, and that you can bring to the table. Your niche may be really, really narrow and focused. And so that's going to allow you to stand out. Maybe you give back and for like a part of every purchase, you're fighting for a cause. And if that aligns with your audience, that'd be really important to them as well. That's going to make you stand out. But what you need to know is that being different like this really only matters if it matters to your audience. If they don't care, if their life isn't going to change for the better in some way, then different is, useless really, except to allow you to stand out. But if it's just made up to be different, it's not going to work. But you can even differentiate the way you're perceived. So let's think about this. For example, even having a website could be a differentiator, right? When someone is comparing your business to your competition, if you have a website and they don't even have one, I mean, that will make you stand out and appear more professional or superior just by having a presence online. It makes you appear like a more valid business. So dig deep here and really find a way that you can differentiate yourself so that you don't find yourself just swimming in that sea of sameness, right? It's not what you want. I want for you to become the go-to, the name that people spurt out when someone is looking for what you offer. They're like, oh, you need this? Like, you need to talk to her, and that's your name because they're the one who can help you. You put yourself in this category of one. The only person who can do exactly what you do for who, like you do it, right? So number 3 is to be different. Number 4 is to be authentic. So people really don't want to do business with a business. They have a lack of trust overall in businesses lately in the past few years. And you want your brand to be trusted because people buy from those they trust. I say that's all the time. A great way to do this is through communication. Nobody just wants to be talked at. They want to be heard, and they want to have a conversation, and they want to be part of a community and, build relationships. That's what people want. And they're looking for that authenticity. So I can't say how important it is often enough to connect with your prospective clients and followers on social media in order to humanize your brand. That's such an important piece. We can't just hide behind the screens as much as I think a lot of us would like to. We can't do that. We have to have conversations. We're people. There are people on the other end, just like you and me, right? We just have this screen between us. So we have to bridge that gap. Showing up in this authentic way will really make your brand stand out. It's going to make you relatable. It's going to show people that you care. And also it's going to make what you're offering appear even more high quality. It's a side effect of that is fantastic. So be responsive, be accountable, be real, and most importantly, be consistent. And this really leads to number 5. And number 5 is to be present. So you've got to show up. The more you show up, the more often and in more places, the more brand awareness and recognition that you're going to have. Just by showing up in this cohesive and consistent way, your brand is going to stand out more than those that aren't showing up. I mean, that seems obvious, right? But it is absolutely true. You have to create this presence across multiple channels and at multiple touch points. And it's totally okay to feel like you don't want to, put yourself out there every day. I sure don't. It's exhausting. And maybe some people do, maybe they thrive off that, but I have to protect my energy in a certain way. And so what I do then is batch create content. So when I feel like putting myself out there and being in front of the camera, in front of people, batch create content and then repurpose it. That way you're not going to wear yourself thin every day by having to show up every day, all day. And it's really hard to show up everywhere in that way if you're not going to be implementing like a repurposing of your content. So by having this like omnipresent appearance, you can really take yourself out of the race with all of the others and put yourself in that category of one that we're talking about, that go-to in your field. So you're going to appear superior to others who do the exact same thing that you do simply because you're the one showing up. So you have to show up, right? So those are the 5 key attributes. So I'm going to run through them again really quickly. If you came in midway through, go watch the replay to get the full rundown. Number 1 is to be clear and focused. Number 2 is to be relevant. Number 3 is to be different. Number 4 is to be authentic. And number 5 is to be present. Okay. So now you might be thinking, Allie, I'm ready. How do I do this? Maybe the wheels are spinning and you're thinking it's time for your brand to be breaking through that online noise. And that's why I'm super excited to invite you to my upcoming free 5-day workshop, Build Your Breakthrough Brand. I'm going to be showing you how to put these 5 key characteristics into play for your business so that you can create an online presence that really reaches through the screen and makes a connection with your dream clients. So to sign up, you just go to dowellwebsites.com/workshop. I think I can put that banner up here so you can see the link. We're going to get started on January 31st. Okay. And it's 5 days. Like I said, it's free. It's taking place together inside of a Zoom room, which I love because I love being able to connect with you live and work on your business together. So I hope you sign up. The link is here in front of me. I'll go ahead and put it in the description as well. And that's it for today, guys. I'll be back again live next Wednesday at noon as always. Until then, I hope you have a really fantastic week. See you later.